I am Judge Lowe, and I'm a member of the Knoxville Bar Association's Judicial Committee. And today I'm talking with Chancellor Chris Heagerty. Chancellor Heagerty graduated from UT Law School and was in private practice for 26 years. He also served as the Knox County election chairman for many years, and in January 2021, he was appointed as Chancellor in Part 3 of Knox County Chancery Court. He now seeks election to retain that position. The Judicial Committee is conducting interviews of the candidates so that voters can get to know them, and all candidates are asked the same questions. So we'll go ahead and get started. Chancellor Heagerty, what makes you qualified to serve?
Well, I guess everybody knows that y'all fed us these questions before we started this, but I did look over. My qualifications are much the same as I guess as most lawyers my age. I looked at Article 29 of the code and I've tried a lot of different kind of cases. Over the last 27 years, I've tried hundreds, not thousands of cases of very diverse types of cases, and have had my degree of success, and I think that experience has allowed me to get a grasp or understanding of what happens in court, because most of the practice that I had was a litigation practice. I don't think it was probably about 99% was litigation, and that's what we do in Chancery Court, is try cases, and that experience has worked well for me as far as putting me in a reasonable position to fulfill my obligations as a chancellor.
Okay. And what do you consider your greatest strengths?
Basically experience. I have a fairly good working knowledge of the rules of procedure and evidence, and have gained those through tutelage through some of the best lawyers in the history of the Knoxville bar. I mean, I would consider Bob Campbell and Dalton Townsend as two of the best litigators that ever were in the insurance defense world. Been around a great many lawyers. Your dad, for example, one of the best lawyers I've ever seen, and just learn through them. And that my strengths come from, I guess I stand on the shoulders of great men that they've helped me get to where I am, and I've learned something from them along the way.
Okay. And alternatively, what would you consider your greatest weaknesses?
Sometimes I'm prone to, I guess, I don't think anybody would ever say I overthought something, but sometimes when I hear something, I get hyper focused on it sometimes, but I guard against it, because there's so much evidence in a trial, as you know, that some things are material and relevant, and some of them aren't, and sometimes you can latch on the wrong thing, and you have to guard against that. You just have to keep your ears open.
What have been the most effective methods for improving court procedures and efficiency?
Are you talking about in my court or
Yes, in your court.
I've let anybody who has come into chambers or come into this court know that my court doesn't open at 9:30 or 9 o'clock. It opens when the building opens. If anybody wants to be heard, or be heard on a Saturday, if they want to, they can call me. And if Lisa can get it on my schedule, I'll hear it. I've never been one to push away from, I guess, wanting to hear things, because it's a lot of courts have schedules where they do motions on Monday and Tuesday, and they'll hear cases Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I don't really care whether it's a motion or evidentiary hearing or a trial. I'll hear it anytime we have open time, because that keeps the docket flowing.
All right. And then what additional improvements would you recommend for the future of our judicial system?
Well, just as far, and this would be limited to my court, I'm going to propose, and I'm obviously not going to force this on anybody if they don't want it, but I'm going to propose, and I'm going to run it by the chancellors here. In divorce cases, we have a problem with people not getting their cases ready, and you'll come up, and a lot of them get continued several times before they actually are heard. And I'm going to not, well, it could be required, but have discovery to be filed with the summons and complaint, just to get your basic rudimentary facts and your financial information set, so you can hear pendente lot motion, temporary support, or you could go ahead and hear, you could hear the case once the discovery has been shared back and forth. But I think that would keep things moving. We do a whole lot of divorce here, and a lot of it slows down because of discovery issues. And if you can put those things in the forefront, I think it's easier to settle a divorce case when you have all the financial information from the beginning. So that's what I'm looking at doing, and hopefully Chancellor Pridemore, Chancellor Weaver will be in agreement.
Okay. What is the biggest challenge that you see facing the court?
Well, I have a hard time considering myself an older lawyer, or I guess I've been doing this for 27 years, and when I started being a lawyer, you could come down to a court on a motion day, or come down and on a day, and you'd walk in and you'd know everybody that was there. You knew everybody that was trying a case, and you could sit there and try a case. And the problem that we have now, I think, is that younger lawyers do not get the opportunity to try cases. And that's the problem that I see. And I don't really know how to remedy it, because if you've got a huge case, an important client, I don't think they're going to say, hey, give this to the youngest associate. But, and a lot of times it's a financial thing where, you can't overstaff a lawsuit having 2 or 3 associates working on something, because the client won't pay for it. So I don't know how to remedy that situation, but I've worried about it, because sometimes when you get younger lawyers or people that don't have enough experience or as much experience, it's not frustrating to the court, but it's kind of disheartening, because I know that I had opportunities to try cases and to be in front of courts at a very young age, just as you did. And I don't know how to remedy that. That's a problem that I see.
Right. Okay. And then final question, who are your judicial role models and why?
I think first and foremost, Judge Jarvis was very, very good to me when I was young. I went to federal court with my old boss, Archie Carpenter, quite a bit. Judge Jarvis was kind of he never made me feel uncomfortable. He could make you feel uncomfortable, but he never did to me specifically. I like the way he tried cases. Judge Wheeler Rosenbaum, I always looked up to, because Judge Rosenbaum knew the rules of evidence and civil procedure better than most people did, probably more than anyone. And finally, be John Weaver, because I think John Weaver has a grasp of the whole law, and that is first rate, and that is probably exceeds that of just about anybody in East Tennessee, if not the state of Tennessee. And that, I don't know how you can improve on him as far as knowledge of the law in general. But those are my role models.
Okay, thank you. And on behalf of the Knoxville Bar Association's Judicial Committee, I appreciate you taking the time to answer these questions today, and now give you the opportunity to make some closing remarks before we conclude.
Well, I've been practicing law in Knoxville and surrounding counties, and I've tried cases in probably 2/3 of the counties in the state of Tennessee, and I've got a wealth of experience, and I think that experience translates into a certain ability to know how to treat the litigants in a lawsuit, how to treat the lawyers, and how to manage a lawsuit while it's going on and before it begins. I hope that those qualities that I have can be put forth and set forth to the community and to all the people that are practicing here in Knox County in a way that where they would appreciate it. This is by far and away the funnest job I've ever had. I've been doing it for a year and a month, and I love trying lawsuits, but this being chancellor is fulfilling, you get to help people, particularly children, and it's just I like to think of it. We take people from cradle to grave. You can be adopted here. You can be dealt with here when you're married. You can be dealt with here when you're as a conservatee, or we have probate jurisdiction. So after you're gone, we take care of you too. So that's it's a wide ranging set of or wide ranging laws that we deal with here, and it's very enjoyable to be.
Okay. Thank you, Chancellor Heagerty.
Thank you, Your Honor.